What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Netta, here with Akeen. Akeen is the newest addition to the family. He's about 6 weeks old, and we do things together right now. Just about everything. Not everything, but just about everything. I just wanted to take a moment and talk about why I decided to homeschool, right? Why I decided to homeschool my daughter. A lot of people have asked me that, especially with my busy schedule. So, for those of you who don't know, I am married and I have a blended family of seven. And, well, altogether it's not of us, it's seven children. Okay? So, a blended family of nine with seven children. And I'm also a full time hairstylist, and I got some other little entrepreneurial things going on the side. But I decided to homeschool my 6 year old. Um, why starting with her? Because the olders are already in wonderful programs and already like middle school, high school. So the 6 year old is the first one that I gave birth to, and I picked out some great schools. I loved her preschool. She went to Kitty's College, and I really liked the second school she went to. They didn't go up to kindergarten, so I had to change schools. But the school that I chose for her was a private school, and it was not that it wasn't a good school. For me, I just felt that she wasn't being challenged. And when I looked around, it wasn't just that school or that teacher in particular. It was just that that's just the way that things just seem to be going. So I decided, you know what, I feel like you wasting her time and you wasting my time and my money. So let me see what I can do because I think that I can do better on my own. And if I can't do better on my own, we'll be back. But however, I'm at least going to try first to do better on my own, even with my busy schedule. So that was one of the main reasons. Another reason was because I felt like there was a lot of negative influence, even in private school in the kindergarten class. You're like, what are you talking about? Negative influence. Some of the ways that the children talk to each other, then she would come home and try and talk to me that way, or talk to somebody else in the family. I'm like, oh, where did you get that from? Because you can't talk to me that way, or I don't appreciate the way that you're talking, to your siblings. And it wasn't anything really bad, but I realized that, oh, this is how it begins, right? These little things, little sly comments that you pick up from your friends, and then it just keeps growing and growing, and then you have a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, yeah, and then it could be a much more serious situation. So I was like, no, I don't like the way that's going. I don't even want us to have that issue. I want us to be able to have a good relationship. Not only that, but I want to know you and I want you to know me. And I want most of the influence of who you are, um, and the type of person that you become and how you value life, humanity, and how you respect other people and how you talk to them. I want you to get that from me, not from your little friends, right? So that was another reason. Um, Also, because I wanted to make sure that she had good self esteem and that she was confident, or that she is confident, right? And so I want to be able to do that by just constantly pouring into her and showing her her own value and teaching her about her own strengths and her own weaknesses, and to know that it's okay. Both are okay to be strong in areas, to be weak in areas. It's okay. You can always grow. You're not going to be the best at everything. You're not going to know everything. Um, but I wanted to do that without the influence of other students. Now, some people will say, well, you know what, Lynetta, that's life. That's what she's going to see. She's got to learn how to deal with that. And she does. She still has other social outlets, and she will. We're talking about six. I just need to build a strong foundation before I expose you to this cold world, right? So that was another reason. And then also, in kindergarten, well, in preschool, they had like Black History Month, and the first thing, the way that they introduced her history to her, because we are black, we are of color, African American, whatever you want to call it. So they had to do a project, and the project was on you. They were assigned um, one of the leaders or scientists throughout Black history to do a report on. And this was when she was 4. They had to do a presentation in front of the class. So I thought, oh wow, that's wonderful. Then the next year, kindergarten, another school, the first thing that she comes home to tell me when she learns about Black history is that, you know, that we used to be slaves, and that, if she was alive back then, she wouldn't be able to go to school, and she's so glad she's not a slave and all this. And don't get me wrong, that is very important for her to know, and I want her to know that, but I want her to know some things that happened before that. I don't want the history or her identity to begin with slavery, right? Because that's not where it begins. I want to be able to teach her about African kingdoms. I want to be able to teach her about other ancient civilizations. I want her to understand the progression and how things actually happen, and how much happened, and how much knowledge was available um, from her people, her culture, other people around the world before we even got to colonialism and before we even got to the slave trade, right? So I was like, this isn't going to work for me. This can't be the first thing um, that she learns about her identity, her culture, and the history of who she is. So I wanted to change that and be able to do it in a way that could give her a better impression of who she is and the greatness that she comes from. I want her to know that she comes from greatness. She comes from inventors, teachers, scientists. So I had to take her out to be able to do that the way that I wanted to do it. Another thing is also because of the way that, I grew up. I'm a military brat, so I did a lot of moving around. And there were many times when we had to move from one state to another, or from one country to another. And there's not necessarily a standard teaching system. I know they're trying to do that now with, the Common Core curriculum and everything, but not all states are doing that. And, that's a whole nother ballgame as to whether you even agree with that or not, or you like the way that's going. But I said that to say that as a military brat and moving around, each time we moved, I was never on point with the class that I moved to. Moving from school to school in the middle of the school year, maybe they've already taught what I don't know, or maybe they're teaching now what I already learned and I missed something else. So it was just a mess with, all the confusion and them thinking, well, does she know it? Does she not? Do we need to hold her back? Can she learn it, over the summer? So just the inconsistency in me not being able to get a very strong foundation um, with my math because of that. So I want to make sure that she has that strong foundation and that it's consistent. And also I wanted to be able to tap into the way that she learns. I feel like I didn't really learn the way that I learned like till college. And that's like too late. You know what I mean? You should already know which way, studying works best for you, how you pick up things. Do you need to hear it? Do you need to read it? Do you need to see it? And I want her to know that. And I don't want her to be, held back when she does grasp something, right? So I want to be able to move her forward at the level and the speed that she needs to go to keep her engaged so that she doesn't lose interest. And I need her to make sure that her foundation is solid and that she truly understands. So those are some of the main reasons that I decided to homeschool. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And I look forward to talking to you later. All right. Me and Akina out of here. Bye-bye.